On another exciting entry of Animation Deliberation, we conclude our coverage of Harley Quinn Season 3 with the finale, Episode 10, The Horse and the Sparrow. We'll be getting into that right after some ads we have no say over whatsoever. Sing along if you know the words. 1, 2, 3, it's time for Animation Deliberation. A conversation and a celebration of our favorite action animated series. Yeah.
Singing is so vain.
Welcome back to Animation Deliberation, the podcast where we take action, animation, and cartoons seriously, but not too seriously. My name is Scotty St. Clair.
I'm Zuhair Ali.
And I am Andrew Rogers.
What's going on, fellas? I am grateful for the fact that the three of us could be reunited one more time for Harley Quinn Season 3 before it's all said and done and talk about this finale.
Reunited and it feels so good.
It couldn't be a better time, but the finale here, though. You know, it's when we want to be here.
Definitely. Well, before we get into all things Harley Quinn Season 3, let's start off with a little bit of kibitzing here. What are you gentlemen watching currently that you want to talk about?
Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones. If you guys haven't heard that version of it, I'll put it up on the gram later, but House of Dragons has been really fun to watch. Binging My Hero again for anticipation of the new series. I started watching Central Park after one of our interviews, and it's actually really funny. The music is truly incredible on it. And most important of all, football, baby! Week 1 win. I'm still on a high. Football's back.
Congratulations. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, we'll try not to run too long. It is a Thursday night, so I know we have Thursday night football ahead of us as well here. So
Chargers and Chiefs. That should be interesting, too.
Yeah. I have not yet started keeping up with football, but that has just been too busy with other stuff and shows going on.
Sad excuse.
I'll start paying the faintest attention once playoff season comes around or playoff time comes around. Other than that, not my
That's
thing,
fair.
But don't knock anybody that enjoys it. I'm happy there's camaraderie and celebration and community there. I have been rewatching Samurai Jack. That's been my show that I fall asleep to, and it's just an absolute pleasure to revisit that one. So
nice.
If you got HBO Max and you haven't watched Samurai Jack in a while, check it out.
For sure. Have either of you checked out the audio adventures for Batman on HBO Max?
Mm-mm.
Audio adventures? No.
Okay, I just started getting ads for it in the past couple days because I think they're doing a second season. I haven't actually watched any of it, but I was curious as soon as you said HBO Max. I was like, I need to ask people if anyone knows anything about this and whether or not it's like worth the time to sit down for.
Okay. So you watch it on HBO Max, but it's only an audio experience? Like, what's the deal?
That's why I'm questioning people before I delve into it, because I guess I'll go over. I've been busy watching. I mentioned Parallel World Pharmacy last week or the week before. That's coming out weekly, and it has just been so much fun. And then I started up Black Clover because I've heard everyone is kind of excited for when that comes back around this year. So I don't anticipate catching up anytime soon because it's like 160 episodes or something like that.
That's one of the many shows coming back?
There's everything coming back. That picture you sent, Zuhair, about the month of October has me ecstatic for what is going on. It's crazy how much anime is coming this fall. And if you don't know what we're talking about, I have posted it on our Instagram, so go follow us and check our stories, Animation Deliberation on Instagram.
Just off the top of your head, what are all the shows that are coming back? I know Zuhair mentioned My Hero Academia.
Spy X Family, Bleach, Chainsaw Man. Oh, why am I forgetting the one of the soccer one that I'm excited for? Blue.
Is the soccer one coming back?
Well, it's starting. It's like its debut.
Oh, right. And then you also have the next season of Haikyuu, which is a volleyball anime, which is
Yeah.
a slight guilty pleasure of mine. It's just one of the best like character building slice of life anime that I have seen. Like all of those volleyball boys are just the best. Like you fall in love with them so quickly. Oh, and Mob Psycho. How could I forget Mob Psycho season 3 also comes, I think, halfway through the month as well.
Sports.
Okay.
Anime.
Yeah, lots on the docket. It's a good time to be alive.
Yeah, between Ted Lasso and Welcome to Wrexham, like, how could you not be excited for that show? Oh, Welcome to Wrexham was another one I'm watching.
Yeah, I've seen little clips here and there, and seems interesting. Even as somebody that's not like a diehard sports fan, I can see how the story and the drama and the intrigue that goes with managing a football team in the UK, especially where the fandom is so fervent, can be an interesting endeavor, especially for a couple of Americans.
Yeah, because like one of the biggest parts of their mission statement is like they want to develop the community and build it up and give them something to look forward to, and like just there's just so much heart behind it. It's very fascinating. It's a really good watch.
Cool.
Would you recommend that or Ted Lasso first? Which one are you saying like someone has to watch?
See, it's hard to compare because one's a documentary and one's a scripted story. I would suggest Ted Lasso because it's a very feel-good show. Like, when you're down and stuff, the stuff that he says, the perspectives that he has, like, it really does give you just a boost of motivation throughout your week. It's just so heartfelt. Whereas Welcome to Wrexham, you're learning, like... First off, Ryan Reynolds is hilarious. Like, even when he's doing serious stuff, like, he's always cracking jokes. But you're actually learning more about, like, logistics, and there is emotion and stuff to, like, why they are doing what they're doing, but you're seeing, like, the process of it, as to where Ted Lasso is just, like, it's a little bit of everything.
Well,
and for Marvel fans, you get to see the actor who does Hercules, so get that sneak peek in.
Indeed, yes. Yeah, I heard that Thor Love and Thunder post-credit scene featured a favorite from Ted Lasso. But with the mention of Ted Lasso, it's worth mentioning that it comes on Apple TV Plus. And Zuhair, you already mentioned the show Central Park, which is also on Apple TV Plus. So with that in mind, you guys had the interview with Stephanie Early, and then Zuhair and I just got done speaking with Joy Noir, who is the award-winning film composer of Blush, the 2021 short film that is on Apple TV Plus. So if you're on Apple TV Plus, do yourself a favor and check out this wonderful short, because I can't recommend it enough. And then keep an eye out for our feed to feature both of those conversations.
And if you're not on it, then go sign up for it. Or find somebody else's password.
You get the 7-day trial for free, and then it's only $5 a month after that. So well worth it.
Binge.
Yes.
Watch Ted Lasso.
All right. Let's not keep the people waiting any longer. Let's talk about the season 3 finale of Harley Quinn. Before we get super spoilery, just what are your overall impressions? Satisfied, whelmed, underwhelmed, overwhelmed? Where are we at?
Underwhelmed. I'm glad it was 10 episodes. It was entertaining. It was an interesting story. It was funny where it needed to be, but as with the last 2 seasons, I enjoyed what I watched, but there was nothing about one episode ending that was driving me to watch the next one. It was more of one of those things where, like, I just happened to watch it when I feel like it. So yeah, it was good. It was entertaining. Good for them for getting a season 4, and most definitely will be watching it. But nothing that really blew my mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo those sentiments, but I would just say whelmed. Like, I wasn't at all underwhelmed by it. I think it just hit my true neutral, like 3 out of 5 stars, right on the head. It knew what it was doing. It hit those marks. It didn't exceed any expectations, but I still enjoyed what we got out of this finale. The little things that they did set up, the final, culmination of a lot of the things we've talked about all throughout the season. Again, without getting spoilers, we just finally got a nice little wrap up and a bow on so many things that I'm nice and content with where we left things off.
Okay, yeah, I think I can agree with that take there. The show I've always enjoyed, even the episodes that aren't like super memorable or kind of blow me out of the water. I always have a good time with, and I'm always pretty well satisfied, and I always have a good time with the show. And I think it worked as a season finale. Without getting spoilery, it did subvert my expectations, which is always a pleasant surprise. I did think it was interesting that the show has always been known for being so irreverent and crude and humorous. I felt like the humor was kind of on the back burner for this one and actually focused on some drama and had some things to say about the nature of relationships.
All right, so Andrew seems to have been kidnapped by Bruce Wayne for future experimentations to prevent villainy. You talked about relations and stuff, and the way that we get to see multiple facets of that. We get to see Nightwing's relationship with Bruce, and instead of him like, I don't want to use the word hate, but I can't think of the right one. Resenting. Instead of like resenting him for not being eye to eye, it seems like all he wants is his attention. So the fact that he left is super fascinating. Between Barbara and her father, I think that was probably one of the best bits, is him doing such a poor job trying to be mayor, and like her logic of like trying to pull him back in. Her relationship with Harley was fun too. We get to see Bruce still dwelling over his parents, Harley and Ivy amongst themselves. Ivy between not only her relationships with Frank, but with Swamp Thing, like understanding like how she actually has pushed people away to like pursue her own objectives and perspectives and stuff like that. So I didn't even mention Harley. Harley being free from the Joker, but also now being in a new relationship with Ivy, but learning boundaries and learning to be okay with other stuff, and that you don't have to be like fully supportive on everything. Because that's one of the things that's like super frustrating in a relationship, is when you don't necessarily understand or relate to your partner's passions, but you try to like fully immerse yourself in a way to be supportive, when sometimes it actually kind of like messes with what you're actually trying to be a part of. Because sometimes like your partner can be alone with their own thing, and you just like be supportive of that. And her trying to find that line was good stuff. It was good stuff. Because not a lot of people understand that that's the border for that.
Yeah. There's a big difference between being supportive and being codependent, and I think Harley's made big strides, and it was definitely a nice part of the season as a whole, and a nice part of this episode. But with that being said, let's go ahead and cover the synopsis. So again, this is season 3, episode 10, the finale, titled "The Horse and the Sparrow." So Ivy is approached by Luthor with an offer to lead the Legion of Doom, while Harley is held as a hero by the citizens for saving them. The crew attends the premiere of the Thomas Wayne biopic, where Ivy plans to kill Mayor Joker as part of Luthor's offer. Harley wants to help her, but seeing Bruce's need of emotional support due to the film, she comforts him instead, while Ivy talks with the Joker about her relationship with Harley. Realizing that Harley does not want to be a villain anymore, Ivy urges her to accept it, but Harley admits her fear of losing Ivy if she does so. While Ivy reassures Harley that she will still love and support her no matter what, the film ends with a huge success. No one believes Clayface that he impersonated Thornton, much to his chagrin. Joker then announces Bruce's arrest by the new GCPD for endangering Gotham and evading tax. Bruce willingly faces the consequences of his actions and asks Barbara to lead the Bat family in his absence. Harley continues to be his therapist and joins the Bat family as its newest member.
So, when we were chatting earlier, many weeks later, I finally realized why the mustache was such a big deal. Because I was watching the episode and I was like, this is the animated content. Like, why does that mustache look like a turd? Then they had the line of $13 million to CGI it on. I don't know why I didn't put the pieces together earlier, but literally as we were joking around how stupid I thought that was, I was like, oh, I get it. That was a Superman jab. Go me for getting things late.
Yep. Hashtag mustache gate. We spent $12 million on that mustache. That wasn't the best Clayface. That was kind of like Clayface and Bane combined, but whatever.
Oh my god, the way that he was acting as Thomas and would have like this perfect dialogue and then go back into his eccentric voice, then back to however he was as Thomas.
Yeah.
Like how did James Gunn not see a problem with that?
Yeah. These pearls symbolize how our love can withstand anything, even bullets. Yeah,
So
that was particularly good. Well, looks like we've got
he's been
our
rescued.
third cohort back.
Hey, everybody.
How was the experiments?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I got to travel into the green, and now I'm back, so.
Cool.
Okay. Right on. Well, we covered the synopsis, and we were just kind of, talking about the Thomas Wayne biopic, A Hard Wayne's Gonna Fall, and how Zuhair wasn't entirely in on the joke about the mustache until
Okay,
right
was
about
it the
now.
Henry Cavill mustache? Was that what we think they were going for? Was how much money they had to pay for it?
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Okay.
I do want to point out that on our stream thing, we have an Andrew who's offline and an Andrew 2 that's present. So this very well could be a Clayface impersonation. I can't quite confirm that yet, but I want the listeners to know.
Don't worry about it. Just don't ask too many questions.
Okay, well now we know it's not Clayface because that was not a vain enough answer.
No.
Clayface would want credit. Yeah.
I can't do the Alan Tudyk well enough. I thought about it and I was like, nah, this is not. Now's not the time to try.
You just gotta go.
Nice. I understood that.
Hashtag Mon reference.
Yes.
That one.
Yes. Yeah, but I think there's a lot to get into this episode, especially with the relationship between Ivy and Harley and how that kind of, in some ways, starts to echo the relationship between Harley and Joker at some point. But before we dive into that, I did want to mention a couple of my favorite jokes. I did appreciate how this show, we even talked about how season 4, there's going to be a woman on the writing staff stepping up to become the showrunner. And the show's from the beginning kind of been about, female empowerment. And I just kind of appreciated the joke that the insurance guy is like looking at the Batwing and he's like, yeah, I'm going to need a Batman to sign for this. And Batgirl's just like, oh, it's got to be a Batman. A Batgirl couldn't possibly be competent enough. And it's like, his name's on the registration. Okay.
I saw that coming a mile away.
The way he cuts him off because that bit has been done so much now is just like, oh, yeah, let's move on.
Right. And then
Meta.
With Frank telling Ivy with her glow up that she's going to get no less than 3 compliments in the day. And like just throughout the episode, first it's Lex Luthor. They're like, there's 1. Then King Shark, there's 2. And then finally Bane at the movie premiere, there's 3. It's like, I told you.
Look fabulous.
Yeah, she does.
That was the perfect level of continuity that like I complained about a little bit early in the season. They didn't have those continuous jokes and they just kind of brought all of them home at the finale here. So I was like, okay, they're doing the things they did well all those other times. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
In regards to that scene when Frank was complimenting her, I was so troubled by Frank in this one because we've either seen him with legs or in the pot. So when Ivy was holding him like a baby and you could just see the defined like rooted butt cheeks, it's just really weird to look at. And then when he was in the cart with his little roots dangling, trying to like fit into the things, like I didn't realize he was that thick. It was just an odd level of detail.
Yeah, it's good to have Frank back.
Yeah, that was one thing. It was her comment to Frank saying, I missed you, and them having that hug. Like, I kind of forgot how friendly they were in the earlier seasons, and that this really was a return to form of like, okay, things are back to normal now. That's why she cared so much about getting him back. Like, that really brought it home for me in a way that I didn't have the perspective on earlier in the season. And I don't know if that was just, I didn't see it as much before, but it kind of puts everything else in a better perspective.
Yeah, because you have them in this comfortable relationship, and then you see the anger of trying to get it back, And what you would expect in a scene like that is for them to just kind of like pick off with like friendly banter or whatnot, but for them to actually have the moment of being like, I missed you.
Yeah.
Like, have that emotional drop before getting back to the stands and then catching up as buddies and this and that. It was literally 2 lines, and it was one of the most powerful things about that sequence.
Yeah, agreed. It was definitely a standout moment and really kind of brought their relationship to a home. But Andrew, you mentioned the callback to jokes and kind of the continuity with the humor there too. I love that scene with Lex Luthor, the callback to one of my favorite lines from the season, one of my favorite King Shark lines, when he says it's the callback to Lex not shitting his pants for anything. She's like, he's like, I nearly soiled my Broxa briefs. She's like, and you don't shit your pants for anything. It's like, not usually.
How just cavalier he was, though. Like, I don't, but this one was different.
Yes. And then Bruce with Alfred, when Alfred tells him he's got the tickets for the premiere, and you can tell Alfred kind of assumes that he is going to be his +1, but Bruce is just so callous to Alfred. It's just like, poor Great Macaroni.
For a second, I thought he was going to be taking King Shark. Like, that was going to be his new friend after he talked him down from, like, needing to kill his parents again. I was like, that's where I thought that was going.
That would have been cute. All right, 2 things off of that. 2 things off of that. First, I was like, why is Selena being so nice to him all of a sudden? And that perfect shot of the reflection with the pearls in the hand, I was like, clever. Very well done. I was actually questioning it for a second. What was the actor's name? Bob something Thornton?
Billy Bob Thornton?
Billy Bob Thornton.
William Robert Thornton.
Nobody was questioning why he came out of the limo when it was Harley, Ivy, and King Shark all coming out with him. Just, oh yeah, here's our actor.
And Frank too. Frank was rocking the tux with like no sleeves filled either. Yeah. I thought about that too.
By the way, Harley and Ivy's looks were fantastic. The way that they designed that was really cool.
Stunners. All of them. Even King Shark had his fit together.
Yeah. She may not be able to pull off cargo shorts, but she was rocking that dress. And just while we're on that note, you brought up Selena. I noticed her and Barbara, their dresses, like I think it's something kind of like new to the series, just that extra level of like visual detail, having the dresses with sequins that kind of sparkle. I thought that was a really nice touch.
Yeah, I was going to say, though, the weird thing, it just seems like Gotham is now okay with villains. Because at the premiere, not only did fake Billy Bob Thornton get out of the limo with all of the villains, in the crowd was Cock King and I think the like mechanized one. And then when you looked around, Clock King and Riddler were hanging out, as well as like all of these other villains at this random movie premiere. So I don't know if Joker just like gave everyone a pardon, so now no one in Gotham cares, but it just feels like they're roaming around doing whatever they want. Oh, and Bane was there. How could I forget Bane?
God bless you, Harley Quinn. Eat shit, loser.
Bane.
Yes. Yeah. With the mention of Selena again, like yeah, she was using that moment to get the pearls, but I also think there was a moment of truth there where she said, just because we're not together and I find you sad doesn't mean I don't want to see you happy. And I think that was a genuine moment, even though she's like, I noticed she like rolls her eyes and has like this like detached, like disinterested tone to her voice. But she's like, how are you? I thought this whole event would be triggering. It's like, oh God, you're here to support me? I probably got an appetizer in my eye. It's just like Batman. It's like, Batman could come up with something better than that, but I just love the way they play with this version of Batman.
Well, this is what happens when he takes off the obsidian-colored glasses,
There we go. Yeah. And the mention of Joker, like his mayoral policies and how he may have offered pardons to all these villains, like it's just really interesting the way they've gone with the Joker, that while he says it himself, and I think what he says pretty much sums up the theme of this episode. He says, I'm both a maniacal force of nature and I want free universal health care. People can be more than one thing. They grow and evolve. It's just really interesting that this character that is like we've come to love to hate so much, like in this world, like he actually has like effective, desirable policies. And I noticed like when he is addressing the crowd before he arrests Bruce Wayne, like he says, ladies, gentlemen, and our non-binary friends. It's just like, this is a socially conscious version of the Joker. And it's a really interesting way to take the character.
Forget the fact that he'll destroy the city in the process of just being very inclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because you look at his tax that he had proposed, like, that was to do good things. He was not just being totally off his rocker like we saw earlier in the season, like doing good things for his kids, but maybe gonna threaten a few lives along the way to get what he wants. So it is that nice balance, and I agree. Like, I'm almost more excited for the next season just to see where they take Harley now that we've kind of confirmed she has grown out of not only Joker shadow, but out of like villainy in general. Where does this give her that opportunity to grow?
Yeah, and I think, he says that people can be more than one thing, they grow and evolve. And Ivy uses that very dialogue when she kind of confronts Harley. And I have to say, I really appreciated how when Harley was kind of compromising what she wanted and what she was doing, her behavior around Ivy when they had the Joker tied up and she was like, hey, you don't interrupt Bay when she's orating. Like, she really tapped back into that kind of subservient lackey role that she played with the Joker. And I picked up on that immediately. So the fact that the Joker picked up on that and kind of called Ivy out for what she was doing, even if it wasn't consciously, like, I really appreciated that. And Ivy uses the same exact language that he used. She says, you've evolved. Like, you're not who you were anymore. And again, the fact that lesson came from the Joker is really surprising, but very poignant. And I think that theme kind of continues throughout the episode. It's like really, I talked about how the finale subverted my expectations, and I honestly thought the season was going to end with Harley and Ivy breaking up and going their separate ways, or even possibly becoming adversaries. So I was just like really pleasantly surprised with how poignant the themes of like healthy and equal partnership, how that doesn't always have to mean like seeing eye to eye, how that was displayed. And I think it kind of speaks to like when a lot of these characters were first introduced in the golden age of comics, those stories were very much about like good versus evil in kind of a black and white kind of way. So I just appreciate how, this series can be irreverent and crude, but also highlight real world truths and like acknowledge that the world is not so black and white. There's tons of nuance and shades of gray, even with these characters. And the fact that two things can be true, like Bruce says it, this is both exciting and scary when he's going away in handcuffs. And Harley says, yes, it's both of those things. And when she's talking to Ivy later on, she says it's both exciting and scary. So I really appreciated that through line.
I'll be remembering those lines when I'm playing Arkham Knights in a couple months.
Okay, there you go. Yes. Little background things. Did you guys notice that when the credits were playing for A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, that the person playing Bruce was Garfield Logan?
Yes.
AKA,
did you notice the rest of the cast too?
I noticed David Cassidy and some other names, but I could not place them off the top of my head.
Yeah, so you had young Garfield Logan as the young Bruce Wayne, and then Rita Farr was listed as playing Martha Wayne. Rita Farr being his estranged aunt, friend of mother. If any of you watch Doom Patrol, you're very familiar with Rita. She also appeared briefly in Young Justice as well. And then it was Daniel Cassidy was the other man's name.
Okay.
I think he played Joe Cool or Joe Chill. There was that whole joke last time. I don't remember which one that the actual name is. It is Chill. Okay. He is Blue Devil, the horned blue large man that we saw also in Young Justice earlier this season. So all of them were some sort of comic placement within there.
Very cool. Glad you had that one at the ready. Well done.
Yeah. There were a lot of things that I noticed with this that also there were some weird, great animation things, but one thing that stuck out to me the most as a bad animation thing, not even bad animation, Clayface at one point, he's looking in the mirror early in the episode, like talking to himself, And then he spins around to talk to King Shark. And there's a solid like 15, 30 seconds that he's talking to King Shark. And his reflection in the mirror never turns back around. So there's two clay faces staring the wrong direction. I'm just like, that's not how mirrors work. That's not how mirrors work. That's not how mirrors work.
Weird.
Everything else.
Don't you know he's just
great.
so vain that he opened his face on the other side of his head when he turned around so he could check himself out at all times.
I had to go back because I was like, wait, did he do some weird duplicate himself thing? Like, it's not really a mirror, but he's just mirroring himself. Like, I was so confused at what was happening. And it was just one of those, like, I don't want to call it out, but I have to call it out sometimes.
No, my headcanon is fact.
That's fair.
Your headcanon's pretty good.
It's all good. I didn't notice that one. But.
Speaking of, like, animation quality, there was something about, like, the bokeh and the depth of field in this one that was just a lot more prominent. Like, I figured that it seemed like they were blurring everything but the subject a lot more in this. And it wasn't bad. It just, like, added a level of detail that just threw me off.
Okay.
Yeah, it felt like there were some scenes that were really, really well detailed and animated. I mean, obviously I talked about the one problem, but the rest of them did have that sharpness, almost.
Interesting. Again, things that I didn't pick up on necessarily, but I'm glad that you guys did.
Yay.
We are an animation podcast sometimes, we promise.
Yes, we are. I'm looking up Kaylee Cuoco's sister's name because I wanted to give her kudos for her vocal performance. I felt like Barbara in this outing had a little more opportunity to broadcast a little vocal range. Like, I thought it was really comical when she and Harley were first kind of interacting on the streets, and she's like, sounds like you need to talk. We got a hero in the house. Just all that stuff was really well done, and I like the personality that showed through there.
Yeah, I almost haven't felt that personality since her introduction as the college student, wherein, like, she had that bubbly college girl energy. I feel like it kind of fell off a little bit when she had to be in Batgirl mode, but now it's like coming back around as she's trying to be the gal pal of Harley.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
she had to be her dad's parent for a while. She had to, like, force herself into adult mode.
Sure, yeah. She had to do that for her dad, as she had to even do that for Batman, and Batman acknowledged that you've already been doing it. You've already been leading this Bat family while I was indisposed. But to give credit to the voice actress, it's Brianna Cuoco. So credit where credit is due.
Yeah, and handing it off to Barbara as well, that's probably going to be a bit of a big deal going forward.
Yeah. It sounds like going into season 4, Batman may not be around very much. So she's really going to have to step up. Seems like Nightwing's are going to stick around for a while as well, which I'm pretty delighted with. I think Harvey Guillen has been taking a different approach to the character, but it's one that I'm pretty thoroughly enjoying.
I mean,
I know what Andrew's thoroughly enjoying.
Yeah, I am. I
didn't want to steal anybody's thunder, but I'm waiting for it.
I saw that smirk a mile away.
We all got to talk about our favorite jokes. Now it's my turn for my favorite joke.
Oh my god, that was fact.
Why did it take so long to get here? The tushy talk is finally a thing. Like, I was waiting for the jokes to start happening. So when Harley just threw that one line, I lost it entirely. Like, yes, he does have the best butt around. You know it's the best butt of the Bat family, and you know he's proud of it. Like, the fact he was like, okay, she could stay. I was like, yeah, he would be. He is that narcissistic that he would want to hear that. And, like, the only reason I'm upset, and it's this weird continuity bump, is because there were those companion comics that we talked about a little bit that did not play at all into the season. Like, there was a main villain of those comics that we haven't even seen on screen.
Okay.
And in that, there's about to be a fight between Nightwing and Harley, and it's just a comic page of her talking him out of fighting and arresting them just by complimenting his butt for 6 paragraphs of text. So I was like, this has to come back at some point, because he's just like, okay, I guess I'll let you guys go. I do have the best butt around. Like, just that full vein narcissism. So when it happened here, I was like, okay, at least we're getting a little bit of it. Now give me more. But I mean, yeah, you knew I had to bring it up, everyone. And if you're new here, welcome to Andrew's corner where he talks about Nightwing's butt. It happens weirdly frequently.
Okay.
Thirst.
Respectfully, the best butt in all of comics.
No arguments here. No arguments here. I guess one of the final things I want to mention, I don't know how much more you guys have to say, but the title of the episode, The Horse and the Sparrow, like I appreciated the real world commentary there with reference to Joker's policies, Bruce Wayne being arrested and accepting his consequences. But, Thomas Wayne said it with his dying breath, like, if you feed the horse enough oats, it will leave some on the road, and that the sparrow will eat from that. It's just kind of this speaking to the disparity of wealth and how like the 1%, they are the horse, and then the working class, the sparrow, gets to eat, whatever's left over from their excrement. So it's always kind of like tainted. So interesting, like real world commentary there. But of course they've got to like curtail it with a little bit of a joke. Like as he's dying, it's like, may my death define your entire life. I fought to get that line in there. Yeah. So, I think that's everything I've got. I thought it was, a satisfying conclusion to the season. If I had one nitpick to take away, it was just a little disappointing not to see Commissioner Gordon in any way. I think it's been a while since we've seen him, and he's always a favorite of mine, how deranged he is in this show. So it would have been nice to have some inclination to what he's up to and what he's got going on. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it feels like an interesting choice that like Joker has an enforcer squad now, and that Cheryl's a part of it, and that we didn't like use that as the moment to be like, wait, Commissioner Gordon, what are you doing here? Like have him be a enforcer or something like that. Now I do love Cheryl though. We all love Cheryl.
I see you double fisting Cheryl like Joker do. And you just mentioning that, like the police clown squad, I can't remember his name. I want to say it was like Craig, but the fact that Batman, like Bruce Wayne, personally knew one of these clowns, and he was like, give us a moment, Craig, when he was talking to Barbara. I was just like, what's the story there?
My headcanon is he just knows all of them from how many times he's beat them up as Batman.
Okay.
So he's just like, hey, give us a minute here. This is fine.
All right. I'll rock with that. That works for me. Any other thoughts? Any final thoughts on Harley Quinn season 3 or this finale in particular?
It was fun while it was there.
All right. Well,
no, I got to talk about Nightwing. I'm happy.
Yeah, we're getting a season 4, so we'll look forward to that. I open the floor to you guys to let people know what we have going on. But again, I want to mention the interviews, the one that Andrew and Zuhair did with Stephanie Early. That'll be hitting the feed soon, as well as the one Zuhair and I just did with Joy Noir. Please check both of those out and hit us up at animationdeliberation@gmail.com. Find us wherever you get your podcast, share the show, give us a review.
Yeah, now that football season is back on, I will be on the 323 with Reed Murphy a lot more often. We have been doing this segment called the NFL Sunday Hangover, where Sunday night we're like watching the last game and just talk about everything that is going on. Me and Reed actually went to a game together for the home opener in DC last weekend. It was a lot of fun. I'm just very excited football's back. And yeah, between anime and football, I am happy and got loads to talk about. So this will be a very fun fall.
Right on. And speaking of loads to talk about, do we want to deliberate on the air right now? Do we want to announce what we're going to do next week? We've kind of talked about it, but we haven't finalized. Do we want to finalize that right now?
I have no idea what you're referring to.
Well, I'm just going to speak it into existence. Since we don't have anything planned next week, because My Hero Academia starts up on October 1st, probably should just do a little My Hero Academia, both recap and just like what we have enjoyed about the first 5 seasons, as well as possibly the OVAs that have come out, and hopefully go from there. If we have time, I think that's probably what we're going to try and do next week. So if you want to send in any feedback about what you love about My Hero Academia, why you're excited, anything you want us to talk about specifically, any questions you want us to answer, we're not going to have time to do like we did with, Attack on Titan and go season by season. So it's probably just going to be like us on air for a half hour gushing about the show. So yeah, if you have anything you want us to talk about specifically, by all means, write in and we'll go from there. If not, it will be feedback that we use for the first episode when it does premiere at the start of October. But besides that, as J. Scotty mentioned, you can reach us on our email for any of the feedback, as well as all of our social medias. I do try my best to keep up with the DMs, but not always the best with that. But all of our socials, you can get us on Twitter, Animation to Live 1, and Facebook and Instagram, Animation Deliberation Podcast. And that is all I have going on. J. Scotty, do you have anything else going on that you would like to tell the people about?
Plus Ultra, Plus Ultra, Plus Ultra.
Yeah, go beyond Plus Ultra. At some point in time, the What We Do in the Shadows Season 4 finale has aired. I just had a little bit of scheduling difficulty with my co-host on Pandivision, Karen Huffstetler, but at some point in time, we will cover that finale, so keep an eye out for that on Pandivision. And I think that's it for me. As always, thanks for tuning in. That's TOONIN.
Stay well, puddins.
It's so nice to have all three of our outros back again. Muscle.
Thank you for listening to the Animation Deliberation Podcast, a proud member of the Stranded Panda Network. If you would like to contact us, you can email animationdeliberationpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter @animationdelib1. For this and other great shows, you can visit strandedpanda.com or join the great community that is the Stranded Panda Chat Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/svchat. Tune in next time, and remember, stay whelmed.